So this is the story of the Frog Prince. So once there was a king with many handsome daughters, but the youngest was the most beautiful of them all. On the hot days, she loved to go into the woods near a well, which would keep her cool. The water would kind of splash up and down and kind of keep her refreshed. As she sat next to this well, she liked to throw this golden ball up and down. She'd throw it up and catch it, and throw it up and catch it. But on one toss, she missed catching it, and it fell beside her. As she watched it roll into the well, she became very sad. This well was very deep. You couldn't even see the bottom, and she thought she had lost this ball forever, and she was very distraught because it was her favorite pastime. But she heard a voice coming from the well, so she looked into the well and was like, "It's a frog, okay." But he said he would get her ball for her, and she's like, "Oh, awesome!" And so she started offering things. She offered him anything he wanted, jewels or crowns or robes, but he didn't want any of that. What was he going to do? He was a frog. He couldn't. None of that meant anything to him. But he told her, he's like, "I want to be your companion. I want to sit at the table with you, eat with you, drink with you, and sleep in the same bed as you." She agreed. She didn't really think anything of it. He was a frog. She didn't really think he was serious. She was bigger than him and faster than him. She could just get away and never have to see him again. But the frog heard this, and he dove down to get the ball. When he gave it to her, she ran away. He called after her, but she wouldn't listen. And she forgot all about the frog. The next day, she was at dinner with her family, and they heard a knock at the door calling for the youngest daughter. So she went to the door and thought it was the frog. She just shut the door in his face and was like, "I don't really want to deal with you." So she went back to the table, and the king asked her, like, who was at the door? Was it a troll or a giant coming to take you away? And she's like, "No, it was a frog." And so she told him the story about the well, how she lost the ball in the well and then promised to be a companion to this frog, and how she really didn't think it was serious because he was a frog. And the prince kind of got a little flustered. Was like, "You have to keep your promises, even if it's to a frog." So reluctantly she went, and she let the frog in, and the king made her put the frog on the table and eat with her. And the frog was like, "I'm tired, let's go to bed." So she carried him upstairs and put him in the corner. It's like, "That's a good place for you. You're a frog. You don't need to be in my bed. My bed's all clean. My bed's all silky. Like, it's meant for me." But the frog didn't like this, so he went up to her and was like, "I'm going to tell your dad if you don't put me in that bed with you." And she just got super angry, so she just grabbed the frog and threw him as hard as she could against the wall, and he turned into a prince. Then the prince then explains, like, "Awesome, like, this witch turned me into a frog, and you were the only one who was able to turn me back." So the girl and the prince asked the king if they could get married, and he agreed. So they went, a carriage came to pick them up with the prince's servant, Henry, to take him back to his own kingdom. Henry was a very loyal servant. He was very, very upset when he lost his master to being a frog, and he put 3 iron bands were around his heart. He was just so upset about losing his master. So as they were riding back to the kingdom, one of the bands broke, and the prince turned around and was like, "Oh no, the carriage is breaking." He goes, "No, sir, it's the bands around my heart. I've missed you so much. I've been so upset, but now that I see you, I'm filled with joy." And so all his bands started breaking, and at the end of that ride, his heart was unleashed and no longer had these bands on him, because he was so happy to see his master again, especially with his master with a beautiful woman. The end.